The woman in the tailored coat sat rigidly on a sun-warmed park bench as children's laughter drifted past like a language she no longer understood, her eyes fixed on a pond that reflected a perfect blue sky while her own world quietly collapsed. Just an hour earlier, she had signed papers that ended a marriage, a legacy partnership, and the illusion that success could keep loneliness away. The CEO everyone feared and admired had slipped out of her glass tower at lunchtime, seeking air, and instead found herself unraveling in public, tears blurring the bright afternoon. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected miracles, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Grandma's Book right now. It helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Her name was Alina Mercer, and she had built an empire by mastering distance. Distance from doubt, from need, from people. That discipline had won her boardrooms and headlines, but it had failed her on this day, when the quiet of the park felt louder than any trading floor. She had chosen a bench near the playground because the noise was honest. Children ran beneath leafy trees, parents watched with coffee cups and patient smiles, and the world kept moving without her permission. Alina pressed her hands together to stop them from shaking, reminding herself that composure was a skill. Yet the tears came anyway, bright in the daylight, impossible to hide. Across the path, a little girl noticed. She had springy curls tied back with a ribbon and the unfiltered curiosity of someone who hadn't learned to look away. Her name was Mira, and she was spending the afternoon with her father after school, practicing cartwheels and counting clouds. Mira felt things like weather. When the woman on the bench bent forward with her shoulders caving in, Mira felt the rain. Without fear or calculation, she crossed the grass and climbed onto the edge of the bench, her sneakers scuffing the wood. She offered the simple, astonishing solution that only a child could imagine, the idea that sadness could be borrowed against, that comfort could be shared like a toy, that a dad could be a temporary umbrella. Alina looked up, startled, and something ancient and tender cracked open inside her. Myra's father hurried over, apology written across his face. His name was Daniel Reyes, a widower who worked days repairing municipal bridges and evenings repairing himself for his daughter. He had learned to carry grief lightly so Mira could run. Daniel guided his daughter back, but Alina stopped him with a gentle wave, the kind that didn't belong to a CEO but to a woman asking for grace. She explained she was fine, that the child had done nothing wrong, and Daniel believed her because kindness recognizes itself. He sat on the bench a careful distance away, the way people do when they don't want to intrude but also don't want to leave someone alone with a breaking heart. The afternoon softened. Mira returned to her clouds, narrating them to anyone who would listen, while Daniel talked about ordinary things, how the city replaced beams at dawn, how the park's ducks learned to beg. Alina listened as if the mundane were a foreign country. She found herself laughing at a detail she couldn't later remember, and the sound surprised her. The challenge she faced was not a hostile takeover or a quarterly loss, it was the simple, terrifying act of being seen without armor. Daniel never asked what she did for a living. He didn't try to fix her. He let the day do its work. They met again the next day, and the next. Daytime became a ritual, lunch breaks turned into shared benches, Myra's stories grew elaborate, and Alina learned the park's rhythms, the joggers at noon, the chess players at 1, the breeze that lifted leaves at 2. The struggle inside her shifted from survival to honesty. She admitted to herself that her life had been optimized for applause, not connection. Daniel, for his part, wrestled with a quieter fear, that letting someone kind into their orbit could end in another goodbye. Yet he watched how Mira glowed around Alina, how the woman listened like time mattered, and hope nudged him forward. Change rarely announces itself, it accumulates. Alina began delegating, then leaving the office on time. She started carrying sneakers in her trunk so she could walk the park paths. Daniel accepted a promotion that moved him off night shifts. Mira learned new words and taught them back, believing adults needed practice. One bright afternoon, Alina brought a picnic and confessed, without titles or triumphs, that she wanted a life where she didn't have to earn rest. Daniel shared his own story of loss, not as a wound but as a landscape he had learned to cross. The suspense of their connection was not whether love would arrive, but whether they would dare to recognize it. The day the board demanded Alina choose between expansion and ethics, she chose people. She redirected funds to rebuild aging bridges, Daniel's bridges, so kids could cross safely to parks like this one. The headline called it visionary. Alina knew it was gratitude. She sat on the same bench at noon, sunlight on her face, Mira between them, and felt something settle that had never settled before. Not victory. Belonging. As this story nears its close, if it has touched your heart, please engage with the video. Your likes, comments, and shares help kindness travel farther than we imagine. And before the ending, a special request: comment the word second chances if you believe small moments can change big lives. Years later, people would still talk about the CEO who redesigned a company around care, but Alina would remember a daytime park, a bench, and a child who believed comfort could be shared. She would remember how borrowing a dad for a moment taught her how to borrow courage, and how giving it back turned into a family.